And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again, another day serving as your consumer advocate right here in Tampa Bay. Brandon Rhymes here. I'm your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Realty. My wife and I own and operate a top 1% real estate group here in Tampa Bay, helping buyers, sellers, and investors with their real estate business. This segment is brought to you by the Bilmar Beach Resort, Gulf Boulevard, Treasure Island. Great opportunity for a nice staycation here in Tampa Bay, filled with fantastic and generous amenities to make your vacation that much more special. Check out the Bilmar Beach Resort on beautiful Gulf Boulevard and Treasure Island. Now, make sure you let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. Take them up on special offers and incentives. We want to entertain, educate, and engage here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, so it's up to you to engage with us. 813-670-7372.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
813-670-7372. That's our consumer advocate hotline number. Also, bookmark our website, consumerqb.com. You can see links there to all of our expert contributors, all the finest folks in all of Tampa Bay and the Gulf Coast region that we've assembled, we've vetted, and we bring on the show to help you understand more about your buying decisions. Anthony Ornella in the house. Welcome in, sir.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be here.
Absolutely. Making your debut to the Consumer Quarterback Show. Regional Director, Drive Planning. Tell us a little bit about Drive.
Yeah, of course. We're relatively new to the greater Tampa Bay area. We're Atlanta-based, but I'm a military spouse, and we lived in Hawaii. And once you live there, it kind of ruins you. You got to be close to the water. So
there you go.
Brought it down here and growing the firm down here in the greater Tampa Bay area. We're a full service financial consulting firm.
Very cool.
And as I tell people, we're not your father's financial consulting firm. We offer a much more robust approach. We were founded. We're founded to create something different and to change the way financial services are brought to everybody.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. And so we'll talk about that. So we're going to talk about the fiduciary capacity, which is one that you've known I've talked about on the show for a long time, making sure we have a fiduciary sitting in that seat, cash flow minded as well when it comes to investing. And I love it. So I love diving into these different types. Talk about some alternative financing as well, as Atlanta, you mentioned, the home of now the movie capital of the Americas, to overtaking Hollywood in a sense. So we'll talk about that too. I want to let you know about a hot listing that I've got here, $2 million listing on the real estate side. We've got a Harbor Point property. It's Harbor Point in Port Richey, and this is $1.99 million property. Check out the gorgeous home here. Access, of course, directly out into the bay, 4348 Harbor Point Drive in Port Richey, Florida. You've got your docks there. You got your pool, balcony, 66 plus, almost 6,700 square feet of living area. Gorgeous property here. A waterfront palace right here in Tampa Bay. Check it out online at PlatinumMVPTeam.com. You can see all of our listings at PlatinumMVPTeam.com. All right, so here on the show today, Anthony Ornella, Regional Director, Drive Planning. We are going to talk about some of these different types of investment opportunities. So people work hard. They work 40 to 60 to 80 hours a week to create some money for their family. They're going to spend a certain amount of that on taxes. We were joking about California earlier, right? If you live in California, Jersey, Indiana, pretty high.
Yeah, Illinois.
Yeah. Move down to Florida, move to states that don't have the state income tax, move to where it's at least you still have a fighting chance. So after all of that, people work so hard. They're buying groceries, they're paying kids tuitions, whatever their bills are. Of course, housing is a large part of that, with the real estate side. Now you have a decision that's very paramount here of that extra income that you have. You have to, as Robin says, have different buckets. Have a safety bucket, have one that you're maybe a little bit more risky with, and asset allocation, something's been pounded into our brains forever, right? Mm-hmm. And I like what you said, it's not your father's financial consulting.
Yeah, absolutely. When it comes to extra, I mean, the whole mindset now is save for some time down the road. And I'm a young guy. I've got two young kids. I put a high premium on living more today, living a bigger, fuller life today while they're still young and enjoying life all along without sacrificing tomorrow. And that's when you look at where to put your money. You should really focus on stuff that, to quote the richest man in Babylon, that pays you first. And that is a very, very crucial point. So cash flow, when you're looking at different investment opportunities, cash flow is really important. And when you're just putting money away in a qualified plan, 401k, an IRA, anything like that, it pays Wall Street first. It pays taxman second, and then you're kind of left with whatever you have, after that. And so a lot of the investment opportunities, when someone's ready for that, obviously there's oftentimes a build up before someone's ready to become a full-blown investor, of course. But when you're looking at opportunities, find out, does it pay you first? Do you feel...
What do you mean exactly by that?
Extra money in your pocket monthly or quarterly or annually, money that you feel you can reinvest it just the same.
Right.
Or it can be the car payment that quarter. It can be the vacation at the end of the year. It can be anything like that to help you live a much fuller life today. And so many opportunities in real estate, and we talked about the movie industry. That's it comes with some tax benefits as well. Alternative energies are really popular, and based off of some state legislation, the return for investors are very, very lucrative. So just a lot of different opportunities that honestly you don't chat about with your friends, plugging into. It's unfortunate that most people don't have the network to become or to achieve the net worth that they want. And
network and net worth, those go hand in hand. 100%. I firmly believe that.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And plugging in with dry planning, it just gets you exposure to things that you wouldn't necessarily be hanging out and chatting with your friends on a regular basis.
Yeah. So we're talking about alternative investment opportunities here.
Yeah.
You're talking about everything from investing in potentially movies to these different types of real estate. Now, on the real estate side, are we talking about I lost my word there. What's the word where you invest real estate through the IRA? So like an IRA, is this similar to an IRA?
I would say it's definitely a component. So I caution myself from, you don't just jump straight into the investing. You, of course, have to build the strategy. If you're product focused, just viewing real estate this, investing here, retirement account here, there's oftentimes not a lot of coordination, and that comes with a lot of cash flow inefficiencies. Money seeps out of there that you don't even see, admin fees and other costs and taxes, all that. And so coordinating your effort under one big strategy is a big component of that. So, a lot of people switching jobs, they don't realize that they can roll over their 401k to other things like a self-directed IRA account that they can then leverage out to have just more options. Most people just roll it into their new job's 401k.
Exactly.
And that just pays somebody else again
to manage it.
Yeah, I mean, and they roll it into the 401k and just have their new money manager with their new employer manage it. Where they roll it into a self-directed account, which is it's just a different form of an IRA, but it gives you much more, per SEC regulations, gives you much more options. Real estate, active and passive real estate investing, private deals. You can still do stock markets and bonds and all that good stuff. But for old 401ks, it's a massive, massive opportunity for people that just have, old money that's stagnant. And 401k plans are expensive if you're not actively contributing to them.
Yeah.
Honestly, the match kind of makes up for the for the admin fees and just the expense of 401k plans. So I'm not a fan. I don't know if that's pretty apparent. Not a fan of the qualified plan.
Yeah. A lot of time, and that's kind of our history as America too. We've done away with pensions back in the day. A lot of pensions went away. You worked at a great company. You had that company helping you through. So as we've kind of gone through this political spectrum, you see, in whichever side it is, they're both, they're not looking out for the consumers in a lot of cases. When it comes down to it. So we're talking with Anthony Ornella here, Regional Director, Drive Planning on the Consumer Quarterback Show. So I wrote down a question when you were talking earlier. Now, are companies required to benchmark? Let's say you rolled over the 401k into the new company, and then this company's outperforming that other company. I thought I read in a book of Tony Robbins, I think it might have been Money Master of the Game or Unshakable, where he talked about they have to benchmark. I don't know if that's a rule that went into place, but whoever's in control of that for the company, are you familiar with that? Do they have to benchmark against other companies to be in a certain level?
As far as performance?
Performance-wise.
Not necessarily, no. And that's kind of the problem is if you have one specific money manager, they're going to do good work for you. They're not out to do bad work or be sloppy or anything, but they're only allowed to service you within the confines of their product line or their performance. And so if the money manager actively knows that X mutual fund from X financial institution is outperforming the current one that they can offer, they still can't offer.
Right, exactly.
You're not going to sit down with that money manager and say, hey, I'm thinking about real estate. Chances are they're going to give you 6 ways to Sunday why real estate's not a good investment.
Why you shouldn't do it.
And there, yes, is there an argument for there's risks involved with real estate? But in Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki says the risk is in the investor, not in the investment. So as long as you're doing your due diligence, you're surrounding yourself with a team. That's right. You're gonna achieve some great things, and just make sure you're doing your due diligence.
Well, the idea with real estate is definitely due diligence. Diligence. You make your money on the buy side. Yeah. You make your money on the buy side. You don't. People talk about flipping, and if you buy it wrong, it doesn't matter how much granite you put in there. You bought it wrong. You're upside down. You're going to hurt on that one. That one's going to be painful. That's going to be your learning lesson for the next one. All right. So we're talking with Anthony Ornella here, Regional Director, Drive Planning on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm talking more about the financial side today, and they are a fiduciary, and that was a big point of what you'd mentioned too when you're selling certain products over other products. It's a fiduciary style agreement that you have, and some other so-called wealth advisors, the lack thereof, and that's a big one. You've got to ask that question, number one. So when we come back, more from Anthony here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, and we are going to talk about cash flow, alternative off-stock market specialist, and we talked a little bit about the movie industry, so all types of covering a large basis here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Stay with us. We'll be right back after the short break.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes. Do not touch that dial. I'll come right through the radio and grab your throat.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
The Tampa.
This is the Cannabis Podcast, powered by TrueLeaf on Radio Influence. It's an inside look and the scientific facts in and around the world of medical cannabis. Now, here is your host, Ian Beckles.
He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
All right, we're back here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, helping you win in any marketplace. Tampa Bay and the Gulf Coast region's #1 consumer advocate program, over 6 years running now. And it's all about you. It's all about our radio family out there. An uptick in calls lately. We appreciate you calling and finding out more about how we can help you, connect you with one of our 80-plus show categories of consumer advocate advice here, just by reaching out to our hotline, 813-670-7372. Phones are open, and we would love to take your calls as well. Anthony Ornella in the house, Regional Director, Drive Planning here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And as you know, I'm the owner of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. My wife and I were just featured in Real Producers Magazine recently as well, October issue of Real Producers Magazine. I did a nice feature, a little special spread there. It was interesting talked about our community and the business side and the service side of our business and how we help folks out. And of course, the real estate connection and the football connection. They want to know what's the quarterback thing about? You know, a lot of times when the media talks to us, it's what's the quarterback thing? So I talk about, you know, the high school days and the Pop Warner and the college at USF, played for the Bulls. But so it's all about the real estate quarterback show and the consumer quarterback show. So being that leader and helping you understand your buying decisions and helping help you with your consumer advocacy, because we're looking out for you. And a lot of times the professionals out there aren't, or some of the so-called, we'll jump into that here later. But I want to talk about a property on the beach, 861 Mandalay Avenue here. This is a property right on North Clearwater Beach. You have 200 steps and you are on the open waters of the Gulf of Mexico, the sugar, sand, and dolphin-filled waters of North Clearwater Beach at 861 Mandalay Avenue, Clearwater. $699,000, beautiful opportunity, huge master, two bedrooms, 2 bath, and you also have a 3rd bedroom in the back, but we can't technically call it a bedroom because of MLS rules. There's no closet in there, but it's got a 3rd bedroom in the back. 5822 Schooner Way over in beautiful Tampa Bay. Another waterfront beautiful property that we have, pool home, 2-story home in the Town and Country area. 5822 Schooner Way, waterfront, bay access, go boating, boat to dinner, right there at the Causeway, Schooner Way in Tampa Bay. Hot real estate properties. Check them out at PlatinumMVPteam.com. Somewhere sunny and 75. And this segment is brought to you by Infinity Medical Institute, online at infinitymedicalinstitute.com. And they are over 10 years in the business, and they offer low T therapy, weight loss plans, cosmetic services like Botox, increased energy, and improved sexual wellness. And also here, over 40,000 patients that have successfully treated with Infinity Medical Institute. Check them out online, infinitymedicalinstitute.com. 871-2929, Tampa area code 813-871-2929, right here in West Shore Boulevard in Tampa, just right down the road from Salem Communications here where we're at. Pellet hormone therapy from Infinity Medical Institute, and they do a great job over there. All right, so we're back here in studio helping you win in any marketplace. That's our goal. That's our mantra around here. Anthony Ornella in the house, talking about that fiduciary capacity when it comes to taking the fruits of your labor. People work so hard, and you've got all these different folks with their hands out. Uncle Sam, you got all the different, there's a lot of things happening between the money that you actually see in your paycheck, and then you take home, and then what do you do with that? I like Tony Robbins where he talks about pay yourself first, and you quoted the great book as well. But these mutual funds, let's pick on mutual funds for a little bit.
Please.
Let's jump on these. It quoted out of his book, Unshakable or Money Master the Game. He says that 95% of the mutual funds do not outperform the index, or AKA the market. So in other words, you would be better off not paying your so-called financial advisor if they're not a fiduciary in many cases, and directing directly into, especially if you're in a mutual fund, rather. So if you're in a mutual fund, 95% of the time, you're not winning. You're overpaying for underperformance, essentially.
Yeah. I mean, with the rise of ETFs and everything, something about mutual funds that not a lot of people understand is when you purchase them at open market, and when you sell them at close of market. So if you see the market's going to crash that day, you can't sell it. You sell, even if you click sell at 12 noon, you're not selling until the market closes that afternoon.
Wow.
And so you suffer all the losses. That's part of the reasons why mutual funds, don't perform well. And they were created out of good intentions to get more people, give more people the ability to invest at a lower cost. But as you said, I mean, 95%, that's a big portion of people out there, a big portion of people out there. And that's where, again, self-directed accounts, you can have way more control and pick what you're invested in. But yeah, I agree that mutual funds, and they're not cheap. Admin fees and everything.
Yeah. When you add the fees up, I would definitely want to have you elaborate more about that. But it kind of goes hand in hand with the way we were programmed. So much of our life is programming. I was born in the South, or if you're raised in the North, and you get into the programming side, right? All through school, and it's taught, well, you got to diversify, right? They even made a funny commercial with the guy who had the long hair. He was the rock musician, but he talked a quick little 30-second game. It's a perfect storm almost for people, because you're saying essentially, well, mutual fund, we diversify. So they're giving them all the talking points to talk to, but what you don't hear, and what most people are a little bit scared to ask, or maybe they don't talk about, are the actual points and fees involved and how that compounds over time.
Absolutely. And negative compounding, radically more devastating than any positive compounding. So there's that quote from Albert Einstein: the eighth wonder of the world is compounding interest. That's a misquote. The eighth wonder of the world is compounding numbers. Compounding interest only works if it's uninterrupted. As soon as you have a loss, that resets the curve. And when you lose, admin fees are still taken.
Right.
And so win or lose, if you lose, they're still getting paid. I mean, they're doing a service, and I understand why they're getting paid. However, it should be considered in the overall performance of it. And, you compound the taxes. We're in the third best tax bracketing in U.S. history right now, since 1913, when the tax code came out.
Interesting.
And so you're taking less of a tax advantage right now in a qualified plan, and then down the road, 10, 20, 30 years, whenever you retire and pull it out, you're going to hope that they're less than the third lowest in human history. I mean, with the socialist movement and just constant global conflict, and Lord knows what in 10 years and 20 years what anything is going to look like as far as taxes go. But again, if you can smooth out that compounding interest curve and always consistently win, that's where compounding interest actually is effective. It is the only place where it's effective.
That's right. And it's going to help you reach your goals. And to my earlier example, Robbins goes on to talk about how if you're paying the financial industry, the mutual fund industry specifically, I believe is what he was talking about, is the only industry, they beat up on us realtors over 3 points on this side, 3 points or 6.7, whatever you're charging, right? But the financial industry is one of those that it's almost like the Wild Wild West. So he gives the example of paying $30,000 for a Honda Accord and paying $300,000 for that same Honda Accord. That's a quote directly out of the book.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I mean, the dry planning methodology is to just shift and change and give people more options. I mean, you're not going to get rich in the stock market unless you are controlling the stock, a particular stock. I mean, as a business owner, why would you take money and give it to somebody else to try to invest in somebody else's business and guess correctly?
Right.
And there's just you're going to get wealthy through your job. You're going to get rich through your job or through your business or through the gigs that you carry on a regular basis. Investing in the stock market should be potentially a portion of your wealth portfolio or your wealth plan or your wealth strategy. But too many people are wholeheartedly all in 100% full retirement plan wrapped up in mutual funds and different stock options as far as what's pre-constructed for them. And because it's easy. Because it's easy just to set it and forget it.
What's the best way for people to reach out to you if they want more information, consultation, sit down with you, pick your brain?
Oh, certainly. I've got no problem giving out my cell phone number. That is area code 904. I know, sinful. It's a Jacksonville area code. 904 707 3114. And my email address is my first and last name with a period in the middle. So Anthony.Ornella @driveplanning.com. QB.com.
Awesome. Good stuff. Hey, some good knowledge there today, and take action on that knowledge. That's what I always say, is take action. And we always talk about that random act of kindness. Maybe reaching out and letting someone know that you heard about the show today, and that they should check it out. And if you missed it, go to YouTube. You'll see it there. You'll find our podcast as well on iTunes, and we'll see you on the other side of this break. Don't go anywhere.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show, hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
This is the Cannabis Podcast, powered by True Leaf on Radio Influence. It's an inside look and the scientific facts in and around the world of medical cannabis. Now, here is your host, Ian Beckles.
He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. Published author and professional speaker. Check out our book on Amazon, Become the MVP in Your Industry by Surfing the Radio Waves, kind of our model of what we've done over the last 7 years or so, growing our real estate business, the Real Estate Quarterback Show, originally founded back in the day, and now we're Consumer Quarterback Show. We just did some really cool service work as well with Warwick Dunn Charities. So we'll talk about the Warwick Dunn Charities event last week. What we did is we went and documented for our TV show, the American Dream television show. We did the Warwick Dunn Charities Habitat for Humanity. What they did is a home presentation. So he gifts the down payment assistance, fills the house with all these beautiful gifts, and completely decorates the interior of the home. And Warwick Dunn, great NFL former Rookie of the Year, Walter Payton Man of the Year. Awesome stuff that he's doing in the Tampa Bay community and many other communities and states throughout. So we had an opportunity to interview the family and, of course, Warwick Dunn, the NFL legend as well, Habitat for Humanity. Big shout out to the folks down there in Pinellas County and, of course, in Atlanta with Warwick Dunn Charities. Really a good time. Seeing that presentation and being part of it was a lot of fun. All right, so this segment is brought to you by Taps Restaurant, located at the International Plaza on Bay Street, and it's our restaurant partner for the Consumer Quarterback Show. It's a local gastro pub. They've got a great ambiance, friendly staff, and guess what? You can bring your furry friends too because they've got an outside area. Dogs are welcome, it says, in the outdoor patio here. Great opportunity to go see the part of Tampa Bay International Plaza Mall, Bay Street on West Shore, and they are a local gastro pub. Taps Restaurant, the official restaurant partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Great ambiance, friendly staff, and again, bring your dog to the restaurant, have fun, and this is the time of year to be outdoors enjoying that. So here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, it's all about helping you win. I want to let you know about some of our real estate properties that we've got available. 1645 Parker Point in Odessa, gated community. This is in a lake community as well. So if you are a fisherman, outdoorsman, you want to check out 1645 Parker Point in Odessa. This is a gated community property, and all of our properties are listing on our website at platinummvpteam.com. You can see all of our real estate properties on our website at platinummvpteam.com. And we want to help you win no matter what you're facing out there.
Somewhere sunny and 75.
All right, we got Shawn Leary on the line. Shawn Leary, Chef Shawn Leary, that is, and Perfect Plates. Welcome back to the Consumer Quarterback Show, Shawn.
Yeah, Brandon, great to talk with you again, and thank you so much. Being a part of the event that you had for your launch was special for us. I know it was special for you. What a great night. What a great evening, and we had a blast being a part of that. So thanks again.
Yeah, that was quite a spread you put together there, Chef. We had, just so people could kind of tune in, we do these gratitude parties, and this one was over at Florida Firearms Academy. We had a great turnout, probably 60 to 70 guests in my estimation. We had a good turnout. We did a Red Skelton style Pledge of Allegiance. We had live music. The singer was great. We had a DJ on site, and of course, Perfect Plates was the best part. We had the great food that Shawn provided, Chef Shawn Leary. Perfect Plates. To give what did we have for dinner that night? That was great, by the way.
Yeah, we had a charcuterie with some different meats and cheeses. That's one of our signature things we place out for people. The people will see that it's a big spread, and we typically do that for a lot of different parties, have different styles. But we had edamame raviolis with an orange for blanc sauce. We had our little soup shooters, the spicy lemongrass soup.
Oh, that was great.
Shooter.
Was so
and then we had Italian tenderloin. Again, what's the name for this thing? But it is a really tasty dish, lots of flavors with a crostini, and we put a little bit of a red pepper chili aioli on there, a nice piece of filet, and then arugula and roasted tomato and garlic that goes on top. And boy, the flavors of that just really come together nicely. And it was just fun. Everyone's smiling and having a good time when they're eating and socializing and talking with each other. So just to be a part of that experience, it's always fun for us, and we're glad we could be a part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I tell you, that food was amazing, and I love food. And I think it's such a central part of the human experience. Just being able to enjoy food, taking in the different cultures as you travel, tasting the different foods. And speaking of that, Shawn, you have you do what we call like these trips. You go like fact-finding missions. You go on trips and you find out. You kind of look at what these other genius chefs are putting together, and you're going down to Mexico next week. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we're excited. I love going back to Mexico. We go to the Riviera Maya, and I typically go back to the same spot because it's voted the #1 restaurant in Mexico by Travel and Leisure Mexico magazine.
Wow.
And for great reason. Jonathan Luna Gomez is the chef there, and he's a little bit of a mad scientist. You know, he puts together these dishes. It's combining chemistry with food, and they call it gastronomy. Every single course, and they do these tasting menus with 12, 18 courses, small bites, but they are an experience in itself. The presentation for each one is not something you typically see. It is just an amazing experience. You have to be a little adventurous to try every single dish, because let me tell you, there are some things on there. My wife looks at me and says, "I can't believe you're putting that in your mouth." Because there is some exotic, ingredients in his dishes, but it is Mexican cuisine at its finest. He comes up with these different journeys that he really takes you through when you enter his restaurant, and it's really kind of fun to see how he does it. And then I try to take some of that and bring it back to our concept with perfect plates and experiencing some different types of ingredients. I don't go as far as one dish had chicatana ants that were part of the meal, and I got to tell you, it was not bad. It is not what somebody would think. It is a Mexican delicacy in the southeastern part of the country. So I don't go that far, but there are some great spices, some great ingredients that we bring back, and we put that as part of our menu.
Very cool. We're talking with Shawn Leary here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Shawn is a business owner, a small business owner. Perfect Plates. His website is myperfectplates.com. Perfect Plates is the business name by Chef Shawn. And tell us a little bit more about what you offer. So this time of the year is the holiday season, lots of parties, corporate dinners, cocktail parties.
Yeah. This is a big time for us. People are getting ready to throw parties, either from a corporate level or some will have some in their comfort of their own home, and we kind of specialize in either one. You want something in your home, we set up the whole dinner display, whether it be buffet or sit down dinner. We have the cocktail hour, which we serve those little soup shooters and the charcuterie and different appetizers. We'll walk around and butler different types of dishes. And we customize every single party to the person's, what we call the flavor profiles. Some people, like spicy. Some people want a little more vegetarian options. So we try to get everyone's dietary restrictions down in that profile. And then we create menus, and you kind of pick it as you like and adjust it. And it's kind of a fun way to not only create the menu, but give a little bit of different options for your guests to enjoy. So it's a big time of the year. We throw some really neat parties, and we partner with some of our. We have a couple partners for beverages and for some adult beverages, and it's just a fun way to piece together a party at your own home. And we help you through that whole process.
Yeah, I love it, Shawn. And the food is amazing. I can tell you from firsthand experience, the food is amazing. I love that tenderloin, that soup that you had mentioned earlier. I mean, everything was great. I love it. Everything down to the charcuterie platters. So we're talking with Shawn Leary, myperfectplates.com. What is Shawn, in all your travels, what is one of the most adventurous foods, or exotic, shall we say, foods that actually surprised you a little bit? You thought initially, maybe not, but then you're like, wow, this actually does taste pretty good.
Yeah, I have the perfect one. It was actually there at Le Chic. It was a beef tongue and mole negro.
Wow.
And the beef tongue, I got to tell you, my wife, she kind of, no, I'm not going in that direction. So you're on your own on this. And I really wasn't sure what to expect, but I figure I'd give it a try. And it was delicious. I mean, it was as good as any piece of beef that I've ever tasted. It was done you're having it done by one of the top chefs in Mexico. So
right.
Not only did we have that experience, but I was the guest in his kitchen. So that night we were able to just sit in the kitchen and watch the chefs all prepare our food, and he gave us this private dinner. It was really an amazing experience. But when you walk into a restaurant like that, it's like a lab. I mean, you got white gloves, you have tweezers, and people just kind of placing the food in such an artistic way. It is so impressive to see how that is done. But that, I got to tell you, that beef tongue was fantastic. But you gotta have some adventure.
Interesting.
In your culinary flight to even try to go for a bite of that. It was fun.
Yeah,
it was fun. It was delicious. And it was delicious.
Sounds like it. Speaking of the beef, so we're on the beef talk. The Wagyu. Tell it what actually makes that Wagyu that expensive. When you go certain restaurants, you look at it, you're talking about an $80 or $100 steak in some cases. What makes the Wagyu that special?
Well, they talk about how they massage the cattle and to have it fed, the grains that it's eating. It's really how it's all raised. Now, food in general. There are different ways to not only prepare it, but there are different ways to let it grow or let it marinate or to have livestock being able to get the best quality.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of different theories on what are the best ways. You talk about Wagyu, and yeah, it's a great piece of beef, but there are some really neat things that are going on even in Japan. There's this, it was kind of like by accident. They fed some pigs the leftover waste from a restaurant, and they figured, well, just throw it out there. We have some leftover waste. Let's get give these pigs the waste, and the food from the pigs, the pork and everything from that experience was better than what they had seen, and they're finding now ways to not only make it better quality, but also it's better for the environment. You get rid of the waste. It's a win-win for everybody, and there's a lot of that going on now in the globally in the culinary world. And hopefully we follow that a little bit, more here in America. And you're starting to see more of that demand for these types of products.
Very good. All right. Chef Shawn Leary, Perfect Plates, myperfectplates.com. Thanks so much for the culinary update here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We appreciate you calling in.
Thank you, Brandon. Thank you as always.
Hey, my pleasure. All right. Stay with us here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. When we come back, more from our expert contributors in studio here. And we have our feel-good story of the day coming at you. So don't touch that dial. We'll be right back after this short break. Don't go anywhere.
This is Chris Voss, former FBI lead hostage negotiator and owner of the Black Swan Group. And you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show hosted by my friend Brandon Rives.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Ian Beckles here with my man Brandon Rives, a.k.a. the real estate quarterback. Brandon, what's happening with the market?
Thanks, Ian. We are in a low inventory.
This is the Cannabis Podcast, powered by True Leave on Radio Influence. It's an inside look and the scientific facts in and around the world of medical cannabis. Now, here is your host, Ian Beckles.
He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rives. You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
All right, Brandon Rhymes here. We're back in studio helping you win in any marketplace. That is our #1 goal on the Consumer Quarterback Show. It's all about helping you win here on the show. And every day we're going to tell you something positive in our feel-good story of the day. And today we have a good one for you.
Tell me something good.
All right, so Florida man pays off lunch debt for every child in 9 schools. Wow, so pretty cool. This gentleman named Andrew Levy learned that over 400 kids in his community wouldn't get a full meal of their school cafeterias. He felt that he had to take action. Levy is a real estate agent in Palm Beach Gardens, but the majority of his business is conducted in the Jupiter area. But when he found Levy, he found out that hundreds of kids did not have access to proper lunch. He met with the district, paid off the outstanding debt in 9 Jupiter public schools. The total came to $944. These children were in debt. They couldn't get what they needed, and he just had to eat cheese sandwiches. And I thought, that's crazy. I thought, something, for a modest sum, I could make that change. I'm going to do it. He's not stopping there. So he's doing it every quarter now, starting a GoFundMe page to help with that. So that was a staggeringly low number, though. There's a little bit low number there. But so we added a guest here in studio. We also have Anthony Ornella in studio, Regional Director, Drive Planning, coming up in our lightning round. Ronaldo Pozo making his debut on the Consumer Quarterback Show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Root SS.
Appreciate it.
Tell us a little bit about Root SS.
So the service station started 20 years ago as a computer repair company.
Okay.
I have a background. I was in the military for 6.5 years, which is where I learned technology project management. Got out of the military, started a computer company. And everywhere I went, they kept asking me to fix things that were not computer related.
Yeah.
And I said no for 5 years.
Yeah.
But the reason they kept asking is because I always answered my phone. I always showed up when I said I was going to show up. I always responded to emails, text messages, whatever.
Yeah.
So they just wouldn't stop. So
wow.
I eventually said yes, and the company just blew up since then. So
when the slogan here, or tagline, when you want IT done right, do it yourself.
Don't do it yourself. Yeah.
Self-service sucks.com.
It does.
Okay.
It does.
Don't do it yourself.
Don't do it yourself. I mean, if you're a professional, that's what you should be doing. But
yeah,
if
exactly.
you're not,
We talked a little bit about before the show. We were talking about if you do buy some of these, for example, let's just say cameras, put them in your home.
Right.
Those are completely hackable. People can be looking at your private, all that stuff.
Yes. Well, I don't recommend putting cameras on the interior of your house. Some people do it. I recommend against that. But basically anything you buy is hackable. Not to mention there's a microphone and everything anyway. So
wow.
Yeah.
Even
crazy.
Smart TVs have mics
and cameras.
And cameras.
Wow.
Yeah.
That they can turn on whenever they feel like. Yeah.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Yeah. It is. It's such a different world than you think about, growing up in, 80s, 90s, et cetera. You think about it. Different world now, a lot more opportunity for criminal activity, all types of different activity. Surveillance. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So when it comes to, low voltage technology, you talk about information technology as well, managed services. So that's networking support. Is that where you're setting up like VPNs for companies and things of that nature?
Well, to make it easier for people, because no one understands what we do anyway, I came up with hardware, software, and audio visual for work, home, and play. Nice. So basically, if it connects to the internet, we do that.
Nice.
Yeah. So we have we have a team of subcontractors that I've curated over years.
Yeah.
Trained them, the way that I was trained in the military, soup to nuts, every single part of the job, this, that, and the other.
That's right.
And they go out and get the job done for our customers.
I love that. Yeah. Well, thanks for your service, by the way. We love our veterans, our military, our first responders, all those folks that are putting it on the line, the nurses. There's a lot of that sentiment around Salem Communications here, as you know, with Captain Matt Bruce, 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. 3rd Watt. Right. A lot of it, we're doing events to benefit the veterans, and I noticed that you've got some stuff going on there helping the veterans. I was interested in the one that says Black Dagger, so Military Hunt Club Inc. That's pretty cool.
Yes,
I grew up a hunter.
It's awesome. Yeah. I was at a networking event a few years back, and there was an attorney who's one of their bigger donors talking about this organization that takes war-wounded veterans out to hunt, shoot, and fish. And I was like, there's no way that exists, right?
That's cool.
So I had to look into it, reached out to the founder who works out of MacDill for Suffolk, and got involved. And eventually I became an ambassador for Black Dagger. I bought a bunch of shirts and joined a bunch of networking organizations around town. And every minute of the day that I'm not working on my business, I'm working on Black Dagger, getting the word out.
Yeah, that's cool. Helping out the vets. We appreciate you for doing that. Rolando, Pozo here, Root SS. So it's the service station, your ITGC. So you talk about technology projects and you're experts in those spaces. So let's jump into our lightning round here.
The lightning round!
I am so good at lightning rounds!
I majored in lightning
All right, so here we go. We got top tips, nuggets of advice, parting words of wisdom. Anthony Ornella, Regional Director, Drive Planning.
That's a tall order, but when it comes down to it, the one big thing, this is a question I get a lot, just based off of the world that I'm in, is people are like, hey, what should I throw my money into? What should I invest in? Two things. Is one, take some time and examine your mindset. Many Americans, a staggering amount, have a very scarcity mindset, and that's what comes with budgeting. That's what comes with honestly, investing in traditional retirement plans will breed this scarcity mindset. So, and taking a self-evaluation of how you feel about money. Does it make you nervous? Does it make you upset? That's because there is a scarcity mindset around money. And when it comes to investing, don't be afraid to spend money on self-improvement, on books, on a Tony Robbins course, on some kind of big event where you can go to and potentially unlock 5%, 10%, 15% more of yourself. So when you look at what you should start investing in, it's yourself. And it's not just eating healthier, all that's good. It's not just working out, which is also good. But getting your money mindset right and feeling good about the kind of things that you're doing with your money, talking more about money, investing in yourself would be my for today, that lightning round.
There we go.
It's invest in yourself more.
I like
Invest
it.
in yourself more.
Good stuff, Anthony. All right, Rolando, top tips, nuggets of advice, parting words of wisdom.
I heard something earlier today that was brilliant. You cannot Google experience.
I like that.
That is the truth. So, with my customers, like, why would you spend money 3 times going back and forth to your local, store, picking up a part that you don't know what it does, this, that, and the other, when you could just hire a professional, do it one time and be done with it.
Yeah. For to relate that to the homeowner that just bought the home and they're maybe stepping into some plumbing or, how many times do you leave the job? Oh, I got to go back to Home Depot. I got to go back to Lowe's. Oh, again, I got to go back again. So you end up getting in heavy, and it ends up turning in a routine 45-minute deal into 2 or 3 hours, 4 hours, days,
weeks,
months.
months.
I have the part. I got to order the part. It's on back order, all that type of thing. So it's not. A lot of times happens in real estate. People want to sell by their own. Right now, the market's shifting, so we're seeing a shift, and it's not as easy as people think in a lot of cases to try to do it on their own. The financial services industry, the IT, the home audio, home automation. I can see how that's right in there as well, and especially when a shifting market. Right now, we're talking about Gary Keller wrote a book called Market Shift. So the market is starting to shift a little less so in Tampa Bay, Pinellas, Tampa Bay areas. You see it on the coastal areas first in terms of California, New York, kind of coming into the middle. But trying to sell it for sale by owner property in a market that's shifting, now you're kind of doing double duty. Now you're not only limiting yourself in the buyer pool, but you're also limiting yourself in terms of your exposure, your marketing. So you see it in all industries. So I want to thank Anthony Ornella. I want to thank Rolando Pozo as well, Root SS.
Thank you.
And we also had Shawn Leary on the show today as well, our local chef here in Tampa Bay. Great show today. All of our producers, thanks so much for your help behind the scenes putting it all together. And we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Something as simple as packing up some leftover food, carrying it with you to and from your commute, handing it to that person that you see in need. Be a force for good in the community. Do something kind for one another. There's lots of ways you can get involved and be a force for good out there. So follow us online at Brandon Rhymes 1 on Instagram and Twitter, the Consumer Quarterback Show page, our YouTube channel, and of course we have an iTunes podcast as well. And we'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for The Consumer Quarterback Show.
Are you a real estate agent looking to take your business to the next level and supercharge your marketing? Hi, I'm Brandon Rhymes, owner of Platinum MVP Realty and host of the Real Estate Quarterback Show, syndicated radio and TV show talk program on iHeartRadio, 1025 The Bone, daily 5 o'clock drive time on 1380 The Biz, and our TV show is on WeBeam TV. We're looking for real estate agents that want to join our team and supercharge their marketing utilizing some of our innovative strategies. We utilize the Real Geeks platform, Facebook marketing, internet marketing, and a lot of the traditional methods as well. Postcard mailers mailed for you, postage, signage, business cards, all paid for by the company. Aggressive real estate splits and ways to help you win in any marketplace. We need you to go out, take applications, and work our plethora of leads that we're generating on a daily basis. Reach out by clicking the form below, and we'd love to have a confidential interview with you.